Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. Well, Bob, you and I got to get dressed up today.
Yep, got my monkey suit ready to go.
You got your monkey suit ready to go?
Yeah,
The Georgia Association of Broadcasters is holding their 90th anniversary event today in Savannah at the DeSoto Harborview. The Georgia Association of Broadcasters, 90 years ago at the DeSoto, formed a broadcast association of radio and TV. Radio at that time, and then they added TV later. And so it's the oldest broadcast organization in the country, and I've been around for 90 years now. And so they're going to have a big event there in Savannah, the DeSoto Harborview. And Congressman Betty Carter is going to make a special presentation to Bob and me on over 25 years of hosting and putting on the world famous Butch and Bob Show. And so they've done this throughout the state at other events they've held, and now they're in Savannah doing it here. And other broadcasters who've been on the air for 25 years or longer with some sort of program, show, whatever the case may be, have been honored. So Bob and I are going to be honored today. Get our pictures taken. You'll probably see us on WTOC, JCL, and SAV. They'll probably be there because they're members of the Georgia Association of Broadcasters, and they'll probably have their news crews there with the cameras and so forth. And so Congressman Carter is coming to this meeting specifically to give this presentation to you and me, Bob.
can't wait.
Can't wait. Looking forward to it. Yep. Matter of fact, we got 5 of us from the radio station that's going there and enjoying the event. So we look forward to it and getting that special presentation from Congressman Betty Carter for over 25 years of hosting a local broadcast program, which ours is the world famous Butch and Bob Show.
That just means we're old. So. That's what that means.
I mean, we just hung around. Hey, you hang around long enough, you get a special little presentation to you. All right. Well, we got Coach Colt Brockington in here this morning from the Wayne County girls softball team. Bob, take it away.
I mentioned head softball coach Colt Brockington in again. Banner year last year, finished state runner-up. A lot of talent back this year. Going to start with a scrimmage this Thursday at Effingham County and then a round-robin event Saturday. But the season gets underway. Again, everybody's talking about the new region, so let's start there, where we're familiar with them. But about Warner Robins and Perry, New Hampstead, what kind of softball teams do these teams bring?
So our region with softball is a little bit different with the boy sport regions or our male sport.
BC doesn't have a team.
Correct. So Benedictine doesn't have a team by default. New Hampstead has now elected to have a slow pitch team in the spring instead of competing in fast pitch in the fall. So that brings us from we have 6 teams in our region. We're already down to 4 with us, Perry, Ware, and Warner Robins.
Why did New Hampstead decide to do that?
I think with some of their other fall sports, they have more interest in those, and to kind of spread out their athletes being able to play multiple sports, they've elected to go with a slow pitch team instead.
Is there anybody playing slow pitch these days?
I think
apparently.
there was around 18 to 22 teams last year. That was.
So I didn't realize.
And it's just a spring sport with the slow pitch softball for them.
Yes, it is, and they break you up into I believe 4 different. And they call it regionals. The regions are bigger. It's not your traditional regions. And then they take all classifications and they go back to Columbus, and it's the same setup as it is for fast pitch for the playoffs.
I gotcha. So what do we know about Warner Robins and Perry?
So Perry's going to be very competitive, even though the distance between us is quite large. They're a team that we've had some history with the past 2 years. And this coaching staff's first year taking over the program. Perry was one of the 3 teams that came to our super regional. They were young, as we were in that super regional. They played some pretty competitive games, and obviously we were able to find a way to get the job done because we were able to go to Columbus that year. So that left a sour taste in their mouth. And this past year, we did not match up in the super regional. We both found our way to Columbus, and they kind of took our path from where we were the first year. They found their way there, weren't able to find a win. So again, they're going to be hungry. They've been around us a lot the last 2 years, so we know each other's programs. This is going to be the first year where they're pretty upperclassmen dominant. They've been playing a lot of freshmen and sophomores the last year, but we've also had a lot of freshmen and sophomores in our lineup. So they're going to be a competitive team. We're going to have to play well to beat them. And then Ware County, Coach Kirkland always finds a way to get her girls prepared to compete at a high level. Last year when we went to their place, you know, we played well and handled the game, but then whenever they came to our place, they threw a freshman at us. And I think she hit us, and we beat them 2-0. So knowing she's a freshman, we're going to see her again this year, and we're going to see her again next year. And she's pretty tough. So we're going to have to play well in both of those games. I would say those are the two teams of the three that we're going to see that is going to pose the biggest challenge. But regardless of who we suit up against, we always focus on just being the best versions of ourselves that day.
Yeah, it's all about pitching. You lost two of your better pitchers from graduation. So who's going to be in that circle this year?
So, yeah, Addie and Dakota did an incredible job for our program. We appreciate the legacies that both of them have written and the legacy that people that come through will always look at them for. But we're excited to get some fresh faces in the circle. We got Reagan Harvey, who's committed to the College of Coastal Georgia. She's going to be one of our primary pitchers. This will be the first season where she's completely healed up. She had a surgery after her sophomore year, which is incredible that she was able to play infield through that, wasn't able to pitch. And then last year we built on kind of recovering that arm, and she's ready to go. And then we're going to add sophomores, Ada Sluter, Morgan Boatwright, who both threw in some big games at key points of the year last year. I remember us going to Morgan with the bases loaded. I remember Ada not knowing she was going to start at Bacon County, who ended up a Final Four team in their classification, throw a 3-hitter. And then we're going to add Marley Wallen to the mix as well. So I think we're going to be fine in the circle. Coach Henson, our pitching coach, he said he likes what he sees. Their ability to throw multiple pitches for a strike is going to be key. Change spin, change location, change velocity. So as long as we play solid defense, which is one thing that we haven't done historically in the last 2 years, and that's been a major focus this year. And we, through our summer games, we have seen that our defense has taken a big step up. So we know that we can win with our pitchers. They're going to go out there and they're going to compete every day. It's nice to know that we do have one senior in that staff, just with the experience that she brings to the table, with the moments that she's been in, and then when you add those sophomores in with her, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, if you just join us, Colt Brockington, the head girls varsity softball coach, is in with us talking the girls softball season about to kick in. It was a young team last year. Most of the players are back, got a lot of starters back, so you got to be happy about that. Who's going to provide the power at the plate there for us?
Man, when you look at our program last year, between our junior varsity and varsity levels, we hit 29 home runs. So when you talk about power, we had 9 different girls in the program that hit a home run last year. That's one thing we don't chase. We trust our work in the weight room. We have our approach at the plate, and our home runs are miss-hit balls. We focus on driving down and through balls, hitting hard ground balls and line drives, and then letting the big flies happen. And we were talking about a potential lineup. It still changes day to day with the depth of very talented players that we have. There's going to be really good players that weren't going to be in the starting lineup each day, and that's unfortunate, but that's a good problem to have. It makes my job a whole lot harder, but there's no other way I'd want it, because the competitive nature that we have at practice each day with each of them pushing, it just makes us better. But the lineup that we played around with was starting the scrimmage game. Our 2 through 8 hole at any point could lose the ball. So, there's a lot of power. There's nobody in our lineup you want to throw to. Last year I told one of my biggest comments was I thought that we were one of the best offenses in 4A, and this year I think that if we continue to stay true to our identity, that we could be the best offense in the state of Georgia, with just the firepower that we have, the people who bought into their roles, and just the competitive nature that we have at the plate.
Well, again, as we mentioned, we knocked on the door last year, just barely missed winning the state championship. So I'm sure the girls are coming back hungry, but it all starts, you got to go through that grind, and go through the region, go through the tough schedule. So it starts with the practices which have been underway. How's the practice been? I know you all start doing the same thing football teams, trying to get it in there in the morning times. It's because it's been brutally hot in the afternoon. So how the practice is gone?
Yeah, so first thing, obviously we played for the state championship last year, came up short of the state runner-up. And one of the first things we addressed this year, we're not chasing that team. That team left its legacy within our program that will always be remembered. But we're not playing with any additional pressure. We're going out each day trying to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. And then whatever happens from there, we just focusing on winning a game at a time. the key is getting to Columbus and then winning a game there, because once you win a game there, anything can happen, as we saw last year. But as far as our summer, we've had a very, very great summer. There's been days where we got done and I asked the coaching staff and said, look, are we getting complacent, or are we doing this right, or has our summer's been as good as we think that they are? And we've stacked together a lot of good days. And whenever you get into a grind, where in June we go 3 days a week, July 4, from August to October we're about to go 5, stacking together your good days is one of the most important things that you can do. So we've been very pleased with what we've seen this summer. We've gone in the morning times all summer. The heat has been brutal at the end when we play games and we're going into lunchtime. You know, the heat's definitely a factor. But again, with our summer games that we have played, we have put people in different spots to see where they're going to be able to contribute in the fall. So with that heat, that's a good thing, the depth that we had and the competitive nature we were able to keep with the changes that we've made.
You mentioned Coach Henson. Go ahead and mention your staff.
Yeah, so we have Coach Henson. He's our pitching coach, and he also works with our infielders. We have Coach Summer Fry, who is our head junior varsity coach, and she also works with our outfielders. We have Coach Bryant, who works with our catchers. And then we have community coach Charlie Lyons, who probably is one of the most integral pieces of the staff, with the knowledge that he brings, the longevity that he's had with the sport, his passion. And when people ask what does he coach, I say he's the jack of all trades. He does a little bit of it all. And I would definitely say he's the one that when the girls are maybe in a slump or they're struggling or they need that person to talk to, they gravitate towards him. I don't know what it is about him. I told him one day it's going to be something I hope I can pick up from him. But the way that he can build them back up and instill their confidence and get them back ready to compete mentally is unparalleled.
Again, it's always a fun season. There's a lot of talent coming back, so it should be another nice run. Looking forward to it. It starts, you got a scrimmage this Thursday at Effingham. Is that correct?
Yes, we scrimmage Effingham every year. They're one of the elite teams, one of the elite programs in South Georgia, and we want to play the best of the best. And I reminded our girls this week that the rankings came out, and I told them we're not going to pay attention to them. We're going to focus on being the best that we can be each day. But I reminded them that our August is a grind. It is every year, and we have seen the last 2 years that it prepares us for the postseason play. In August, we want to play teams that's going to be in Columbus, that's going to be making the playoff runs. And that's why we start with Effingham. They have an elite pitcher. They're a very disciplined team. We're going to go Saturday and play TCC. Their coaches increasing on the all-times wins list, and we're going to play ECIs, who won multiple state championships over the past 5 years. Turn around next week, we're going to play South Effingham, who's a top 3 team last year in Columbus. So our August is a grind. But we want to make sure that each day we're trying to figure out how to overcome adversity and how we're going to compete through it. And we don't want the feel-good games. We don't want to go out there and play a team that we can go through the motions. We want to make sure that we have to play our best to win each game.
And Cole Brockington in the studio with us again. Not only a coach but a teacher. You recognized this past year, got the big award and got to go to California. How was the trip to California?
No, it was incredible. A lot of like-minded individuals that were there. The amount of positivity is one thing that really stood out with me, and just the impact of controlling your mindset really left an impression on me. We went over a lot of different things, and there's some stuff that I can help bring back here, and that's one thing that I'm most excited about. But just being around a lot of people who have student achievement and student learning and caring about students and creating those trusting and safe relationships at the forefront, it was just an incredible experience, and I'm very grateful and honored that I was able to go to that.
Well, tell folks what award you won this past year.
It was called the Milk and Educator Award. I still have no idea how my name came up for that, and it wasn't an application process, but your target. So whenever we were there, they were talking about kind of what their goal was, and it was to keep teachers in the profession or keep educators in the profession. So they target early to mid-year teachers that are or educators that are in their career, and it's just an embodiment of trying to keep them to year 30, because with the high turnover rate in the education system, that's something that they're trying to make important.
And so they had, when you won it locally, you were able to go to an event in California with other winners. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe this year there was 44 of us across the nation.
Okay. All right.
You got a nice check, too. Did you finally get a check? Because that was the joke. You had to go to California to get the check.
Yes, so we finally did get that. It was fun turning that into the bank whenever I usually bringing in low bills, and then they get a big check. Kind of looked at me, but yeah, it was exciting.
Did you do anything special with the money yet, or put it away? What do you do?
We put it away, keeping it for family matters. So it was a big
Smart
blessing.
thing to do.
It was a big blessing at the right time.
So
Yeah,
how was California? I mean, anything stand out? Anything that you did?
So California wasn't what I thought it was. It was an incredible experience, and I'm glad that I got to go. It was a place that I really didn't think that I ever cared to go to.
Which part of California were you in? What town did you go to?
We actually were put up at the UCLA Conference Center on their
So you're right there
campus.
in L.A. then?
Yes, we were. And we were able to do a tour on the last day when everything wrapped up and going and seeing the different sites and the historical landmarks. It was real cool. And on the tour, we went to 4 different places and able to stop and interact and get out. So it was a very neat experience.
Well, good. I'm glad you had a good time in California. And again, look forward to this upcoming softball season. Again, kicks off. Our first broadcast is going to be that Wednesday game against Richmond Hill. Got a few games before that, so we'll keep everybody up to date. But a lot of talent coming back. It's all about pitching. You got plenty of pitching, so it should be a nice run. Like I said, knocked on that door last year. Hopefully we can knock the door down this year.
Absolutely. We're excited, and again, we're going to focus on taking a game at a time and being our best and playing our best. A couple years ago we peaked a little early. Last year we peaked at the right time, so we hope we can peak at the right time again and make a splash here at the end.
Okay. Always good to see you. Appreciate you coming in.
Yes,
Best
sir.
of luck.
Thanks for having me.
Coach Colt Brockington, the head coach of the Wayne County Girls softball team. More of the world-famous Butch and Bob Show in a moment.
South Georgia weather.
Here's your WIFO forecast.
Good morning, everyone. Sunshine for our Tuesday forecast. We're closing in on the last couple of days of July. It's supposed to be a pretty hot time of the year around here, and it will certainly get that way. Highs today, upper 80s, a few low 90s. Tomorrow for Wednesday, temperatures will stay about the same with a few spotty showers and storms in the afternoon. By Thursday, it's all low and mid 90s. I'm Georgia meteorologist Laura Huckabee in the GNN Weather Center.
When further treatment is no longer an option, hospice can provide services to manage symptoms and difficulties caused by illness. Emotional, psychosocial, and spiritual care, as well as support to the families and caregivers, are all part of hospice care. Hospice of South Georgia has been a part of the health community in Wayne and surrounding counties since 1998. The professional yet compassionate attention provided by our staff is unsurpassed. Widely supported by donations from the local population, Hospice of South Georgia is the local nonprofit hospice in Wayne County. Our administrative office is located at 1625 Sunset Boulevard, and Hospice of South Georgia accepts anyone who meets hospice criteria, regardless of their ability to pay. Please call 912-588-0080 to speak with someone about hospice care. That was 912-588-0080. We are your hometown hospice, and we are here to serve you. Hospice of South Georgia, working to add life to your days.
Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup. We continue on with the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. You take in any more Olympics yesterday, Bob?
I watched a little bit of the coverage last night. Like I said, women's basketball team, ladies basketball team looks awfully strong. So gymnastics is fun to watch. So like I said, tune in every now and then.
Yeah.
Not addicted to it.
Yeah, I haven't watched any. I've kept up with the medal counts and what we've won and who won, but I haven't watched any.
I was flipping back and forth with the Braves. The Braves had the lead and slipped away. I need them to beat Milwaukee because Milwaukee's in first place in the Pirate division. Right, so.
You got a more vested interest in the Braves winning last night and tonight. So who did the Braves pick up yesterday?
They picked up their MVP from the World Series in 2021, Jorge Soler, the outfielder, home run hitter. So hopefully it'll provide some punch to that lineup. But they better get going. Like I said, they're not doing real well.
Yeah, they've lost, 3 top players due to injuries in the last couple of months?
Injury bugs really hurt them. The Mets are on their heel, was in the second place in that division. So like I said, hopefully this acquisition, he was a popular player when he was here. Fans liked him, players liked him. So they're bringing back a familiar face, and hopefully he can provide some punch in that lineup. So
anybody else they're looking at that you know of?
Like I said, the trade deadline's still ongoing, so they may make some more moves, but just don't know.
Okay, so they tried to, we lost our big home run hitter, and now we're trying to pick up another one. Getting more punch in there.
You got to try to get, I'm not sure what Ozzy's status is. They said when he hurt that forearm, it was out 6 to 8 weeks, but they're hoping he could get back quicker. So, but like I said, when you lose a Michael Harris, you lose a Ronald Acuna, you lose a Ozzy Albies, it's hard to compete when you lose 3 of your best players in the lineup. So
we've seen that in every sport, from baseball to football, of course, in basketball, but because they don't have that many players. But even in football, where you've got 22 starters, you lose your top 3, and imagine Kansas City losing Mahomes and Kelsey and one of their top defender.
Acuna's their best player. He's a 40-40 guy, 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases. That's hard to replace. So once he went down, it was going to be a struggle. But they're still in the hunt. Like I said,
they're still in the hunt.
They keep talking about you just got to get hot at the right time. You got to get in the playoffs. Philadelphia showed that last year. You make a wild card team, you get hot, you can win it all. So it's just a matter of getting in the dance.
That's right. Got to get in there.
Hopefully they can hang in there.
You've seen several times where these wild card teams have won the World Series. Like Coach Brockington said a minute ago, you get hot at the right time. 2 years ago, they got hot too soon. Last year, they got hot at the right time and finished runner-up in the state.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. All right. And I think the first preseason National Football League game is coming up real soon.
Yeah, I think in 2 days. I think they got the Hall of Fame game in Chicago, and I can't remember who Chicago's playing, but NFL football right around the corner. Falcons are excited. Jaguars are excited, so hopefully both can do well this year.
That would be nice.
I'm be interested. Like I said, Falcons went out and spent all that money on Kirk Cousins, but then he drafted Michael Penix in the draft and first pick. So, be curious to see how that quarterback battle is going. I saw where they picked up a former Pittsburgh Steeler yesterday, James Washington, a wide receiver, was signed by the Falcons this past week. So, he was a good player coming out of college, Oklahoma State player.
Who did?
The Falcons.
The Falcons.
Picked up James Washington.
Okay.
Added a receiver to their receiving core.
I haven't been to the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium that was completed a few years back. Have you?
Oh yeah, been several times.
Several times.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice stadium.
Nice stadium.
Very nice.
Okay.
SEC championship games.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah. All right. The first preseason game coming up is the Chicago Bears hosting the Houston Texans.
Okay. And
coming up this Thursday at 8 p.m.
Right. Yeah, I knew it was close.
Yeah. Not tomorrow, next day, this Thursday, first preseason game. And the NFL season will be here. Now, their regular season doesn't start till like the second weekend in September. And, but college football's right around the corner. High school football, we'll have 2 or 3 games in August, which is difficult to comprehend sometimes because it used to be just one, the Friday night before Labor Day. And but now we play several in August as they move the season up to try to get everything in.
August 31st is the big weekend. So where Georgia Southern's hosting Boise State.
Boise State coming to – we're not having to go to Boise State. They're coming to Georgia Southern to play, which is unusual. Usually you have the smaller colleges go to the bigger colleges, and now the bigger colleges coming to the smaller college. So Boise State coming to Georgia Southern. You said that Labor Day weekend?
Yep, August 31st.
Okay.
Georgia plays Clemson that weekend. That's the 12 noon game that weekend. So that's at Mercedes-Benz, the kickoff classic.
Okay.
Take it on Dabo Sweeney. Boy, Paul Feinbaum's been crushing him lately on his show.
Yes? Crushing Dabo?
Crushing Dabo. Said, where is Dabo? Where's he been?
Well, they have gone down the last couple of years, but you have your ups and downs, so forth.
Everybody's got Georgia win that game, but I said Dabo.
It's Georgia at Clemson. I mean, there's no.
Good.
You throw away the.
Always a good game.
Yeah, always a good game. Yeah, I don't know if this means as much to the players as it does to the folks who've been around when Georgia Clemson used to go to war every single year. A lot was on the line. And once again, Bob and I are heading to Savannah today. We're being honored by the Georgia Association of Broadcasters for having a broadcast program on the air for over 25 years. And, of course, it's the Butch and Bob Show that you're listening to right now. Congressman Buddy Carter will be making that special presentation to us. There'll be a lot of other stuff going on because it is the 90th anniversary of the Georgia Association of Broadcasters. And it's just amazing that we're getting it at the very hotel that the Association of Broadcasters began with several radio folks back in 1934. And so we look forward to the event today, getting all dressed up, looking spiffy, and getting that special presentation from the congressman.
I just want to thank, can't do without the guests. We've been fortunate to have a lot of good guests, whether it's a local event like, Board of Tourism or a chamber event or local, we've had local politicians, but we've been blessed to have state politicians. Like I said, the governor's been kind enough to come on the show many times. I mean, over the 25 years, we've had a lot of politicians statewide.
A lot of state officials
called us.
A lot of state officials, they call or stump by.
I want to thank our state representatives that done the weekly show, like Stephen Meeks and Blake Tillery and Bill Werkheiser and Buddy DeLoach. I mean, thanks to them. So
right.
It's all about having good guests.
The guests make it. Yeah,
right.
The guests make the show. I mean, we can sit here and try to flap our jaws for 30 minutes, but it's the guests that really make the show. And it's for anybody out here in the community. Throughout Southeast Georgia, you got something going on, and we figure to make a good Butch and Bob show, we'll book you.
And some local politicians that have realized the importance of getting the message out, and others refuse to come. So
it's also
what it is.
It's also a venue for elected officials to come in and talk about issues that are going on that are important to the citizens of the cities, the county, and the state.
Right.
And so we'll go up there and get the special presentation. Mark and Art and Matt's going to be there, and they'll take pictures and video and stuff, and we'll have it on our website and things of that sort. And but we just we're honored to being honored by the Georgia Association of Broadcasters, and the special presentation made to us by our Congressman Betty Carter, who is a regular guest here on the Butch and Bob Show.
Anytime you're recognized by the state, it's a good thing. So we appreciate it. Should be fun.
All right, Bob. We'll see you in Savannah.
See you in Savannah.
All right. The world-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup has been brought to you by O'Quinn & Associates, Murphy Builder Supply, Van's Barbecue, and First Southern Bank.